final countdown. How students are fighting the before Christmas crash.
Airport arrest. Find out how one passenger landed another in handcuffs.
Cyber Monday. It's like Black Friday, but you don't have to leave your home to get the deals. I'm Angela Santos.
And I'm Janae Anderson. It's Monday, November 28th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
Salt Lake City police say they're still searching for a man they found dead in a restroom in Salt Lake. They say they found a 72-year-old man at the Chevron at 504 West South Temple, and there's no signs of foul play. Police say the man appears homeless and don't plan to release his name until they know more information.
Smithfield police have arrested a man who they say abused his infant son. Police Chief Johnny McCoy says 30-year-old Justin Collette was watching his 2-week-old baby when the injuries occurred. Collette claims that the baby got the injuries by falling, but medical experts say they don't believe it was an accident. The child is in stable condition. And a 10-year-old boy is with relatives after police say his mother tried to smother him on Thanksgiving night. Tammy Hadley Crane of Weber County turned herself into police. Crane told police that she plans on killing her son and then wanted to take a large amount of pills to kill herself. Police arrested her before she could do any harm.
A University of Utah professor says he's not guilty of watching child pornography on an airplane. Professor Grant Smith was flying from Salt Lake City to Boston when a fellow passenger said they saw him viewing child pornography on a laptop. That passenger used a cell phone to take a photo for proof and then alerted the flight crew. Police arrested Grant when he arrived in Boston, and the U put him on university administrative leave pending a criminal investigation. New signs posted across the state aim to remind drivers of a law that makes Utah highways safer. The law requires drivers to first exit the highway, then call police after minor fender benders. This is a big change for Utah drivers. 21 officers were injured last year assisting minor accidents, and UHP says this law should keep everyone safer.
Black Friday was a record-breaking superhero for retailers, and its trusty sidekick Cyber Monday is looking to do the same. Analysts expect 100 million Americans to participate in Cyber Monday today, spending a record-breaking $1.2 billion. Black Friday this year shattered its own record with more than $11 billion spent.
Less than 2 weeks of school left until fall classes end. Students are feeling stressed in addition to their turkey hangovers. 11 News reporter Brianna Carr talked to some students. Brianna, what's their game plan for taking on finals week?
It's crunch time, Angela. 9 days. That's all until classes are over. And only one word came to students' minds when I mentioned finals week.
Stress. I start to stress. I think everyone does.
It's freaking me out.
While most students are stressing, others are still having a hard time being back so soon from Thanksgiving break.
I want to go home.
All of the students agree on one thing: focusing and studying hard now and not waiting until the last minute to cram. Some students have perfected a studying plan in order to deliver their best performance during finals week.
Allot your time so that you have time to study between each test.
So even though they won't find mom there, most of the students will make the Harold B. Lee Library their new home. Besides the quiet atmosphere of the library, there's really only one other thing that will get people through their exams.
Sugar. That's the only thing that can keep you up besides caffeine, but I don't want caffeine because it makes you crash more.
Libraries extended 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. hours start today. As for the creamery, well, it's stocked full of famous creamery ice cream, just in case you need a sugary little study break. Live on campus, Brianna Carr, 11 News.
Good to know. Thanks, Brianna. Now you've definitely got me feeling stressed.
When 11 News at noon returns, Mars mission. NASA's latest space adventure has a Utah connection.
And budget bubble. One school district has found a simple way to save money, and you wouldn't believe where it's coming from. Stay with us.
A student is home following an Egypt arrest, a dramatic rollover rescue on a California highway, and Occupy protesters in Texas roll up their sleeves to bake. Here's your look at news from across the nation. An American student who was detained for a week in Egypt is finally home. Cairo police arrested Luke Gates and 2 other American students during a protest last Sunday. They were accused of throwing fire bombs at security officials. Gates says he's happy to be home and looks forward to spending time with his family for the holidays. In Los Angeles, a group of Good Samaritans lifted a pickup truck in an attempt to rescue 3 people pinned inside. The deadly rollover left occupants helpless and injured, and when Highway Patrol arrived, several strangers were already rescuing a woman. 2 passengers survived, but the driver died in the truck. And Occupy protesters in Austin, Texas are cooking a new way to raise money. They held a bake sale in front of the Texas state capitol and plan to use the money they raised to send local occupiers to D.C. when Congress convenes. They want to make sure they make it to D.C. so they can tell Congress what they want and why they're occupying. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Angela?
Thanks, Janae. A little piece of Utah is heading to Mars. Pieces of the Atlas V rocket were built right here in the Beehive State. The rocket began its 8-month journey from Cape Canaveral, Florida to Mars this past weekend. The rover aboard Atlas V will be searching for evidence that the red planet was once home to tiny forms of life. Tough economic times aren't just hitting homes, but schools as well. 11 News reporter Janae Anderson shows us how one school district is pinching pennies to save money.
7 + 2 does not.
Mrs. Adams' first grade class is learning the challenge of finding the right numbers to balance out their addition scale. Her students carefully weigh out their options, making sure everything adds up just right. But as it turns out, they aren't the only ones in this district juggling numbers.
Jordan School District has been looking closely at our budgets for the past 3 years. When the district divided, it was very difficult. We had to make some significant cuts.
When the eastern portion of the district broke off to form the Canyon School District, Jordan District had to cut $40 million from their budget in 2009 and $29 million more in 2010. To even out the scale, the district had to make significant layoffs.
Through those first couple of years, we eliminated approximately 400 non-teaching positions in the school district.
This is the first year since the split the district didn't have to cut any staff. Instead, they combed through expenses and found some fun and, well, foamy ways to save money.
You wouldn't think the answer would be in the bathroom sink, but after switching from liquid to foam soap, Jordan students use a lot less of it. So the district is able to save around $25 grand a year.
Great. I mean, if they can put it into each classroom, or I know they were doing some changes this year, but hopefully they can get more computers in the schools.
And with all the district saving, those computers just might be a possibility. Jordan schools not only save on soap, but this year's change to a paperless payroll saves another $10,000. And switching from diesel to natural gas school buses saves another $40 grand.
We have tried to look at every area possible to make those cuts so that we don't have to come back and ask for a tax increase. We don't have to come back and ask for more money.
Things might have looked dismal 3 years ago, but with a little saving here and there, just like Mrs. Adams' students, Jordan School District says they were finally able to reach the perfect balanced budget. In West Jordan, Janae Anderson, 11 News.
Dunham says Jordan School District's plans to look for more ways to save money and predicts a balanced budget for next year as well.
When 11 News at noon returns, basketball's back. The end of the NBA lockout means sports fans have an extra Christmas gift to look forward to this season.
Oh, Christmas trees. Why these forest elves grab climbing gear to decorate the trees.
And well, our holiday wasn't white, but now that December starts this week, will it bring us some flakes? Find out when your 11 weather returns.
So Sarah, I noticed it's looking pretty gloomy and gray outside.
Yeah. Does that mean snow in the forecast? What's coming up?
No, there isn't going to be any snow. Those clouds are just a residue from a storm that came through Utah last night, but they are going to clear up
but for right now, those clouds are going to stay on the horizon. We're just looking at a really gloomy day. Hopefully the sun will come out and play for a little bit. It looks like it's clearing up right now throughout this afternoon, but currently outside it is 36 degrees with 75% humidity, so it's a little bit chilly, and just seeing those temperatures that we've been seeing throughout this last month or so. And then it is going to heat up 10 more degrees, so what you can expect for today is going to be 47 degrees, and then those clouds are going to stay, but that sun is coming out to play this afternoon for just a little bit, and then that sunset's coming in at 5:02 p.m., so it's nice and early as always throughout this month, especially after the end of daylight savings. Across the country, if we take a look at what happened over those last 24 hours, this storm came in from the Pacific and it hit Utah, mostly northern Utah. That's why we're getting those cloud coverages, but it didn't leave us with precipitation. I think that's awesome. And so our Utah highs are looking normal, 40s and 50s, 43 in Logan, 52 in Salt Lake City, and then 54 in Provo, 58 in Price, and then St. George always seeing that nice 60s, 67, almost hitting 70. So for their 5-day forecast, we're looking at a nice week for them, except maybe Thursday, hitting the 60s for the first half of the week. Then in the second half, we're seeing some 50s. Thursday is when that snow might come, 20% chance, so it's really low. And then if it does snow, it's going to be just less than a half an inch, so nothing too much to worry about there. And then Friday, it's not going to snow, but it might rain, 20% chance again as you head into the weekend. And for northern Utah, we are looking at 50s for us. Monday and Tuesday is going to be pretty cloudy, and the sun will peak Tuesday. Wednesday, our hump day, might be just a bump in the road because it is going to probably snow. It is a 30% chance, so that's pretty low, but if it does snow, it's just going to be less than a half an inch. And then on Thursday, it's going to clear right up, but it's going to drop into the 40s, and so it looks like we're just getting a couple patches throughout the week, both in northern Utah and southern Utah, but if it does snow or rain in those areas, it's just going to be really small.
All right, so we'll look out for that. Thanks, Sarah. All right, so it's going to be a cold weekend here in Provo, but not for our BYU football team.
Yeah, Brian, I heard our football team is headed up to Hawaii. What's with that? You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, no, they're heading out to Hawaii. I was in Texas for Thanksgiving, but that's nothing like the one that they're going to see there. And I'll tell you what, I'd like to be there, that's for sure. And as an avid surfer, Coach Bronco Mendenhall wouldn't mind heading out there more often either. Could Hawaii become the new Utah? And the BYU men's basketball team tries to pull an upset over 11th ranked Wisconsin in Chicago. Around the world in sports, all coming up next. A bye week may have cooled off last week's victory, but the football team's about to get a little warmer. 11 Sports reporter Brooke Davis went to Broncos press conference and has the latest.
The biggest question mark today was whether or not quarterback Riley Nelson will be leaving on that jet plane to Honolulu, Hawaii, as the Cougars take on the Warriors. See what Bronco had to say.
We're going to prepare both quarterbacks all the way through the week. And then hopefully as more information comes from the medical staff, the more we'll know. But I think the CT scan is today, if I'm not mistaken. If Riley were cleared to play, I would start Riley.
The last match between BYU and Hawaii was in 2002, but the game to be remembered was the final regular season game in 2001 when Hawaii ruined BYU's perfect season. Now Bronco says he wants to revamp the rivalry.
I'd love to have maybe Hawaii be the last game of the season. I'd love to have the last game of the season have something of special significance before your bowl game.
Traveling to Hawaii, last game of the season, bowl game already sealed. Is Bronco worried about distractions? See what he had to say.
Surf report, and it's supposed to be good, so if I'm not there at the game, then you'll know what's happened.
So Bronco has a custom surfboard sitting in his office. He's ready to hit the beach, but really why he wants to go to Hawaii is a chance to get better recruiting, get players on the team, and also those Polynesian players will have a chance to play in front of family. So Brian, I wish we could head to the beach with the team, but we'll just have to sit back and watch it on ESPN2.
Thanks. Yeah, I would definitely enjoy the beach. Well, the BYU men's basketball team missed a golden opportunity at the Chicago Invitational Challenge when they lost to 11th-ranked Wisconsin. Coach Rose and company came in with high hopes, and after a slow start, got things going with Brandon Davies' monster jam. He must have started about the three-point line, and that is just ridiculous. He finished with 9 points, and then in transition again, freshman and rising star DeMarcus Harrison drains the three to tie things up at 24. And unfortunately for the Cougars, it was their only successful three of the night. The same couldn't be said for Wisconsin, who came out in the second half on fire. Ben Brust with one of his 7 threes as the Badgers pull away and win 73-56 and take the championship. With all of our attention now turned towards Christmas, the NBA decided to give everyone an early present, announcing that they have reached a tentative agreement with the players to end the lockout. The first games are slated to begin on December 25th and include a rematch between last year's finals foes, the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. The league is planning for a shortened 66-game season. Syracuse University has fired assistant men's basketball coach Bernie Fine after the release of a 10-year-old recorded telephone conversation between his wife and alleged victim Bobby Davis. On the tape, Fine's wife admits to knowing that her husband molested Davis while he was a ball boy for the team. Fine was in his 36th season at Syracuse. And ESPN is reporting that former Florida and University of Utah coach Urban Meyer has accepted the head coaching job at Ohio State. He will replace interim head coach Luke Fickell, who took over for Jim Tressel after he resigned more than 6 months ago. The Buckeyes recently finished their season with their first loss to Michigan in 7 years and a mediocre 6-6 record.
All I can say about that is I wish I was heading to Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii would be nice, and Bronco, I'm sure, is loving it with as being a surfer like he is.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever been to Hawaii?
No, but I guess I'll just have to enjoy it watching it on TV.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
Still to come on 11 News at noon, Deck the Woods. How many Christmas lights does it take to brighten up this Canadian forest? We'll tell you when we come back.
It's that time of year again when people get ready to put up their Christmas lights and decorations. Bob Nixon from CNN tells us that some workers in Canada have more trees to trim than the average yard.
It is one of those autumn rituals, the stringing of holiday lights. But few places have a bigger job than the folks at the Capilano Suspension Bridge in North Vancouver.
You can fill a huge room with the amount of boxes of Christmas lights we have here every year.
James Toft and his crew of 5 started the job more than a month ago. Endless?
It's just keeping the team motivated, keeping everybody happy, and I mean, it can't be that sad when you're putting up Christmas lights in a beautiful rainforest, right?
Unless it's raining.
Yeah, we have rain gear though.
The Capilano Suspension Bridge people tell me they have 400,000 Christmas lights here this year, and some of them are pretty high. This is Dave Edgar, vertical guy. It's his job to scale centuries-old Douglas firs to put up lights 40 meters above the forest floor.
It's outside. Nobody bugs me up in the trees.
Well, sure, who doesn't want to dangle high above certain death? Besides, of course, almost everybody. People can only stare and wonder. But with just a hint of irony, Edgar insists the danger is worth it.
No price is too small for the art involved in lighting up the night for the masses.
Okay, so he's joking, but get him down the tree, and his story does not change.
It's really fun to hang out up in the trees, and even just getting up into the trees in the first place is part of the fun.
This famous Vancouver tourist attraction has only held a December light show for the past 6 years. What had been the slowest season now attracts as many people as come on the warmest days of summer, thanks to people like Dave Edgar.
Sounds like a beautiful way to celebrate the holidays.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's your 11 News at noon for Monday, November 28th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a wonderful afternoon.